The term entropy used in this presentation is which academia itself refers to as a general trend of the universe towards death and disorder. Entropy is a process of degradation or running down or a trend to disorder.
Biocentrism is turning the world upside down again, with the seemingly simple idea that the universe arises from life, not the other way around. We think that life is just an accident of physics, but a long list of experiments suggests exactly the opposite. Seemingly, if you add life and consciousness to the equation, you can explain some of the biggest puzzles in science. So the view of the world in which life and consciousness are bottom line to understanding the larger universe is called biocentrism.
Materialistic science asserts that the universe exists for no reason at all, and that we can do as we please therefore. Could this be true? Well, today our task is to delve into that absolutely daunting topic. It is very important because if no, the prevailing trend in science will remain ego-driven and cannot have any positive effects on humanity's development. Based on what we have observed over the last decades, science is rather used for shaping consensuses to ensure conformity and restricting liberties. If yes, then we have to open our minds to the plausibility that the universe itself is determined, as much as our nanomolecular machines which keep us alive are. If there is no purpose, then individualism and greed are likely here to stay, and that would mean that we are ruled by nihilism. On the other hand, if the cosmos has a purpose, we would better fathom its intent before it gets too late. We are in this global quagmire because many decidedly want to ignore the correlation between the different planes of reality, therefore creating an elusive future that only works as a theory. Hence, this pervasive academic notion of entropy shaping and influencing society. Such a nihilist view in science can only lead to our demise, because the latter directly implies that science mainly cares about the immediate results. Science is adamant about mapping the DNA of any life forms just for the sake to bend nature to its own will, which is why biodiversity loss is approaching a highly critical juncture. The scientific field is marked by conflict of interest, causing a lack of response due to this prevailing academic nihilism. Today, most advanced science isn't geared towards social betterment, but the exploitation of life. Every single molecule on our planet is traded as a commodity. Let's face it, we live in a death cult.
Would be easier than changing our habits. If this sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, it's because it's not real yet. Scientists from Harvard and Yale suggest using solar geoengineering as a way to combat climate change. Here's their plan. Fleets of specially designed aircrafts would fly roughly 20 kilometers above ground in the lower stratosphere. Once there, the planes would release tiny sulfate particulates, which would block sunlight in a process known as stratospheric aerosol injection.
When seeing the scientific commitment to autonomous weapons, biotech and synthetic biology, science has obviously no time saving lives. The theory of entropy derives from a false perception that we rather take from life selfishly while we can, since the law of the fittest rules it all. This insatiable drive for domination is which we can see taking shape all around us. And the question is this the world we truly want? A world managed by a top 1%, only caring about how to stay in control. High-tech gadgets are no spies in our households, selling our data to the highest bidders. The harsh truth is that we have less than 2 years to come back to our sense and figure out real solutions, such as letting go of our mindless consumerism and simply transitioning towards a money-free society.
Physics that can explain, as you've already heard over and over, how a group of molecules in the brain creates consciousness. The attempt to explain the universe, its origins, its parameters, and what's really going on requires us to understand how the observer, us, how our presence plays a role. Reality involves your consciousness.
Our control systems breathe fear and imperil humanity's field of consciousness. And because anything we do breathes fear, therefore, we only end up accumulating adverse side effects, never addressed by science in a timely fashion. This is the process by which societal entropy comes about. In the big picture, every cell belongs to the stars. We are walking with life when aware that creativity has to remain a main drive throughout life. Our society needs a new blueprint recognizing the cosmic origins of epigenetics, also deeply woven into the fabric of consciousness. The good news is that there are over 1,000 scientists denouncing this pervasive academic entropy already. And the real paradigm shift will occur when going through the realization that science has to become a rational study of the supernatural. The new civilization will need axioms derived from life, so that the commodification of life can be ended and initiate healing across the world while declaring empathy as the only currency. We will expound further on that in our next episode and why the universe is determined to prove itself it exists. And this implies that there is no reason for us to continue endorsing a death cult society.
The universe arises from life, not the other way around. We're not measuring the world, we're creating it. We're not measuring the world, we're creating it.